Alright, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today, we're going to be reacting to some more videos. We have lots and lots of ski reviews on the way. As you probably noticed, we've been busy making hay while the sun's up, or however you say that expression. But I want to get back to the reaction videos. I really like them, and I feel like I can get my personality out a little bit more. And honestly, there's been a lot of stuff I want to react to. I've seen Stomp tutorials kind of in my feed a lot, and I've checked them out a couple times, and honestly, I think those guys do a really good job. Everything I've seen has been really cool. I learned something on one of their videos about like decreasing your DINs when you set them over the summer, which I'm embarrassed to say I didn't know, but I didn't know, so there we go. They've got some cool stuff. I watched one about how to ski switch. So I thought, hey, let's check them out. And they actually have a video about how to carve. Now, they are primarily kind of freestyle skiing and a few other things. But when it comes to carving, that is when you are in my territory. I used to coach for the Liggety Wybreck camp. I did like the summer camps up at Mount Hood. I am a level 100 certified USSA ski coach. Not that that matters much. Certified race referee, again, doesn't matter much. I've got my mileage. I have had a lot of bad habits, so I know what not to do, I guess. And I'm okay. I'm like a low tier Division III or USCSA college racer at one point, you know, decades ago now. But I understand how to carve. I understand the basics, I'd like to think. So we're gonna react and see if what they're talking about is baloney or if Stomp tutorial actually has good advice on how to carve. All right, and here we go.
In this video, we're gonna look into the 3 most common mistakes when it comes to carving and how they may be limiting you from having less than an awesome time when you're going skiing. We're gonna look into the problems themselves and also some exercises and how to fix them. And if you spend some time taking care of your common mistakes, you're gonna have way better time skiing, and maybe one day it even looks great like this.
Okay, the first example they gave where they said that they're leaning into the turn, they're kind of leaning into the turn, but it's more like a hop turn. They're overextending their body to get the turn initiated rather than using the downhill ski pressure. You could interpret that kind of as tipping to the turn, but anyway, I'm getting too granular already. This is just the intro. But that's a little bit of a weird diagnosis. I guess it's kind of right, but not the first thing I would notice. We call those hop turns. Okay, anyway, I'll say more for the video. Good carving, but it's very like hunched over and this guy's knees are too close together. It's good carving, it's okay, but this isn't a great example. Also, whoever's doing this, if you want to be like an example of skiing, wear a helmet. I mean, this guy kind of skis like a park skier, with his knees kind of close together, but whoever this is carving, yeah, get your feet a little bit further apart and wear a helmet. Jeez. Come on, what year is it? Like, the last time I saw someone not wearing a helmet was Julia Mancuso during the Torino Olympics, and she had like the face mask just for slalom. And even then it was like, what are we doing here, huh? There's good helmets. Just wear the helmet. Okay. Anyway. I'm nitpicking and they haven't even said anything.
If you want to carve like this guy, you know, check this video out. And what's cool about this video is that I learned to ski by myself with nobody there to teach me. So I developed like pretty much all of these common mistakes that we're going to show you in this video, and also show you some exercises on how to correct them. Yeah, exactly. Let's go carving with Kerr. Let's look into the common mistake number 1 when people are...
Okay, I can say too, I think it's actually healthy to learn on your own. I learned in a very like high pressure area, which was the BMA junior program. And as much as that's like a very accredited area, I didn't actually learn that much there. It was very high pressure. Where I learned the most about like good carving mechanics was actually when I quit and snowboarded and then went into ski racing on my own in high school and had coaches that were more laid back. Like, if you're here to learn, we'll teach you, but if not, go have fun. And so, you know, I think learning on your own, like he's saying, is actually can be a really good way to learn. You're invested, you're figuring it out as you go, especially people my age, like I'm 33. If you grew up in the 90s and like were a child in the 2000s, it might have been better to learn on your own, because a lot of the coaches who skied, when they raced or when they were skiing, they skied on straight skis. So a lot of like the things that we learned were very much race tactics, start your turn early. They didn't actually understand carving that well because it kind of came in midway through our life. So I don't know, like learning on your own might have actually been more productive.
Carving. That they're twisting the upper body in the direction of the turn, which results in the skis are then sliding out, and it takes then a while to untwist that before the upper body and the skis are pointing in the same direction again. And then you already have a bit of rotation in the upper body that's gonna make the next turn also probably skid out.
If you find you have a tendency to finish the turn by rotating up the hill, resulting in the tails of the skis washing out, then I maybe have a solution for you to try.
All right, what should I try?
So, you're gonna need to ditch the poles here for this one. A little bit of cord.
Okay, one thing, if you're seeing that guy when he's rotating like that, part of that is a symptom of not having enough downhill ski pressure. That person is trying to initiate by not being patient and rotating their body. What people need to figure out first and foremost is like, okay, how do I carve a ski? It's by changing the shape of the ski and pressuring your boot. You have to kind of get that fundamental first before some of this upper body stuff can really come into play. As we always say in skiing, you want to do from the boots up. I'll see what this guy has to say, but sometimes the rotation, that one's clearly getting in that guy's way, but this isn't always the solution. Sometimes you're rotating because you're not being patient with your turns, and you need to load the pressure in your boot to get the turn initiated. Worry about the downhill pressure. If you saw that guy's downhill pressure, his downhill ski was kind of doing this because there's not enough pressure being built on that downhill foot. But it is a problem, but sometimes you gotta address like the underlying problem before you go for some of this other stuff. A bad upper body can get in your way, but it's not always the best thing to attack first. At least in my experience.
Coordination required. So the exercise we can try, we ditch the poles, and we're gonna take our outside hand. In this case, my right ski is the outside ski. So I put my right hand on my hip, my legs do the lovely steering, but I'm going to counter with my body. I'm taking the inside hand and I'm going to point it across towards my outside ski and down the hill, the direction of travel. This will then change as we start the next turn. The hands will come up and it will change to the left hand side. Does that make sense?
All right, let's see if it makes sense for you as well. Start out focusing on putting the right hand on the right hip when you're turning to the left. And then the left hand extends towards the right ski's nose to break that uphill rotation that causes you to skid out. A bonus effect of this is that it helps to angle the upper body more, so the upper body is rather straight and then the legs angle out in that way.
So these are called Schlopy drills from Eric Schlopy, who's also from Berk Mountain Academy. It's a great drill. This is A+. This is like the most effective drill to help the most amount of people. I was gonna say that typically this drill is used for building upper body, lower body separation, but it is really good because it's helping you kind of visualize pointing your shoulders forward and keeping them downhill. Some people will say lock it with the horizon, but that doesn't always work. The only thing I can see going wrong with this kind of drill is sometimes people will do the Schlopy drill and then they'll keep rotating more. So another thing you can do is you can kind of have your pulls and your thumbs and just kind of keep them level, and it teaches you to counter rotate to kind of keep your shoulders level with the turn. Or you can do a couple other drills where you kind of are pulling their pulls away so that they feel that counterbalance. But really, when you're doing a drill like this, you're just trying to get that feeling of what a good turn feels like, and then make it muscle memory so that you know what feeling you're supposed to be looking for. Because a lot of skiing is a lot of different dynamics all at once. You want to feel, hey, okay, this feels like a good turn, I'm doing it right. This is how my hips should feel when I'm in a turn, I'm doing it right. This is where my shoulders should feel in a good turn. It's a good drill for counter rotating. It's not the first one I'd think of, but I don't know. Anytime you're suggesting a Schlopy drill in my book, I don't know, I can't help but give it a thumbs up.
First of all, practice the exercise as we showed you. And then you can look at details like where you position your hands, that you don't drop one hand like behind yourself. make sure that you have your both hands in front. If you can see them, it's sort of a guideline that they're probably in a quite okay position.
He wasn't dropping it behind it, he was just giving himself room. The reason the slopey drill is good too, because if your hips are really into the hill, you don't want to have your hands in the way. And also, like, you want to drive your shoulder forward. It's fine. I mean, I'm not going to overcomplicate it, but you don't always need to see your hands. You need to just have your shoulders square and keep your inside elbow up, but worrying about your hands too much doesn't work. And this guy's got some weird stuff going on with his shoulders, but it's fine. I mean, it's nitpick. All right, let's keep going.
So, Mr. Jens, if you find that you're reliant or have a tendency to sort of just tip the body, drop the inside shoulder to get the ski onto the edge, you may encounter some problems along the way. You'll find that on steeper slopes you lose pressure and grip through your outside ski, your downhill ski in this case. Again, it seems to be our left one. If you're in variable snow, when you've got kind of powdery patches onto like really sheet icy patches, you get that whole whoo, and you're gonna have a lunch. You're gonna fall inside, and you're gonna slide.
All right.
Maybe a long way, I don't know.
Have a lurch, I like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he's gonna suggest, but in this case, you should be doing a slopey drill. Because if you're tipping like that, that shows that you don't have the upper body, lower body separation. That's where you want the slopey drill. If you're over rotating, keep your poles on your thumb and kind of keep it level. It allows you to kind of counter rotate, and you have to keep your shoulders square with the horizon, because otherwise your poles are gonna tip, right? So that's what I would do. You're gonna try to kind of frame the downhill. And if you're really got that tipping, do that slopey drill. Get that upper body, lower body separation. Another way you can do it is just by really going on a slow, flat trail and focus on just building pressure in your downhill ski, because usually that means that you're using your upper body to initiate the turn rather than the pressure in your boots. It's a super common problem. I mean, so if you're struggling with this, it's, you know, everybody's been there. And I don't know what they're gonna suggest, but I would say that I would have saved that slopey drill from that, because if you're tipping like this, it means that you don't have kind of that break at the waist that you need.
So a little exercise we can have a shot of is we take our poles from the normal position, turn our hands upside down on them, so that we reveal the poles to the ground in this manner. The pole tips or baskets are going to drag along in the snow.
All right.
Throughout the whole turn. So our legs are going to do all the lovely stuff underneath, but our poles are going to stay in contact with the ground. Particularly, again in this case, our left one, the downhill pole. And that's going to encourage the upper body to come from this position more into this position, which will make sure we've got a bit more weight on that outside ski to maintain grip.
And should I be careful that I don't accidentally go like that and stab the ground?
Yeah, you don't want to stab yourself or the ground.
Oh, so.
So yeah, just let them relax and drag a little bit behind you, or even just beside you, level with your hips. Make sense? Yeah.
Do a whole run or a few doing this exercise, but I understand if you don't want to be skiing around like this all the time. So when I was learning to ski properly in my early 20s, I found just being aware of the importance of this and like feeling how the G-forces from the ski and the hand, like it's pushing down there, adding to that nice kink in the body and putting more weight on the outside ski. See, it's happening here again. It's just knowing it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, he's a little hunched over, but that's a good drill. I've never heard of that. I've seen variations of it. The only thing I would be careful of is when you start dragging it like that, it can make for some weird timing with your pole plant. But if it, I don't know, I'm not super aware of it. That's kind of cool. So, you know, I'm here learning too. Like I said, I love Stomp tutorials. I think they do a great job. So I'm here with peace and respect. I'm not here being super critical. I'm just giving my 2 cents, that's all. As somebody who grew up in the American racing system and maybe flunked out of it and then rejoined. I have a lot of opinions about this because I've had, like he said, a lot of bad habits along the way. And I found one thing that a lot of PSIA people, a lot of coaches do, is that they're trying to kind of coach to your symptoms rather than to the illness. And what I mean by that is people will say, oh, you're hunched over, you're not doing this with your hands. And you can get really granular about what's going on with your hands, but usually it's a bigger underlying problem of I'm not building a good platform on my downhill ski. So I'm using my upper body to create some kind of stability. So right with that tipping, or I'm trying to use my momentum to gain a good platform. So that's kind of where I'm coming at it from, but so far this has been all good. I think the guy coaching has some weird habits. It's definitely more of like kind of a hunched over park skiing, but that doesn't mean it's not working. And the fundamentals are mostly all true as far as what I can see. So let's keep going.
If you find sometimes that you're leading in to the turn a lot with your inside ski. So in this case, if I was turning around there, I'd lead in a lot with my right ski.
Okay, see what this guy is doing here? I mean, I think he's doing an example, and I'm not actually critiquing his skiing. But what he needs to do is start building the pressure in the downhill ski earlier. What he's trying to do is build it when he's already kind of at the apex of his turn, and that's way too late. You need to start building pressure into your downhill ski and let that initiate your turn, rather than using all these tricks in your upper body to kind of trick your skis into initiating.
And my hip just goes onto that ski. You might feel like your outside ski wants to break away. Again, you're gonna lose any grip at the start of the turn, and you're just rushing the whole thing by plonking your hip from side to side.
Yeah, he was also using his inside ski to steer, and you don't want to do that. You want to be like 90% on your downhill ski to get that pressure. Again, I think he's hamming it up for the purpose of this video, but just giving my input.
That's totally a problem I used to have.
It's understandable because you want to get to that point in the turn where you're gripping and when you are getting lower to the snow. However, you're not allowing the turn to be built up in an appropriate way.
So how should we do that?
It's a little bit of thinking along a different process here, rather than an exercise. As we start the turn, as we stand up into the turn, we want to like pull the inside ski back and change that weight onto the new outside ski, and be patient. Allow the skis to come around into the downhill position before finishing the turn with the lovely ankles and knees.
Yeah, and I think it could be a good idea that you look down and see how aligned the skis are, and that you pull one back and push the other one a bit forwards, right?
So essentially the picture's opposite to what we've got going on here. Rather than the inside ski leading into the turn, it's a little bit the outside ski leading into the turn.
And then we'll get more even weight in the skis.
Yeah.
It'll be sick. Let's do it.
Okay.
So maybe you want to look down on your skis, and if you see that the inside foot is still leading, pull it back. If that's not enough, you can also focus on pulling the inside foot back as you're pushing the outside foot forwards. And if you get this right, it's gonna feel way better turning, and you're gonna get a bit more weight on the outside foot. It does really feel pretty good when you really push it in a nice carving turn.
This is pretty good, but again, this is more like tricking your skis into initiating the turn rather than just build the pressure. If you think about a ski like an hourglass and you flex your boot, like right, you build pressure in your boot, you're changing that hourglass into an arc, and then all parts of the edge are running along the snow, and that's what an arc is. These guys you're trying to drag your foot kind of forward to get it to go, when really you need to be building that pressure much earlier in the turn and then letting it grab. And then that's like a clean carve. And that is actually a type of turn that will cut through bad condition snow, whereas this kind of thing will get washed out if it's not super stable. You're basically waiting till the second 2/3 of the turn to be on it and kind of waiting for that momentum to dig your skis into the snow, and you need to be snacking that pressure early so you can gain momentum. Similarly, you don't want to pop up like he was saying with your skiing. You actually want to kind of go forward. It's almost like you're free falling down the hill and then your skis catch you. I'm not as good with this skill, Zach, when he does it, is really good with it. And he's actually the one that kind of taught me that skill. And I'm still working on it. I can kind of do it and build pressure off of my back foot. But you don't want to be going up. You want to kind of be building that pressure to propel you forward. And that's a good fundamental to understand because it'll help you stack your momentum as you go and like gain speed with your carving. For the purposes of understanding carving, I think that this is not wrong, but it's actually kind of a bad skill. You want to actually build your momentum forward and not pop up. The other thing that can happen when people pop up, they'll lose kind of that feeling of their feet on the snow, and they'll over time gain bad habits of unloading the ski, reloading the ski, reloading the ski. You want to build pressure to this ski and then start build pressure to the next ski, not kind of unload and reload. It's not awful, but just a little nitpick there.
Hey, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned a lot about how not to ski, and thank you, man, for joining.
All good. I hope it was useful. I hope there were some things in there that can help you skiing.
Yeah.
If you're unsure, I guess leave a little comment and we can see what we can do.
Kurt, get you hijacking the frickin' comments. Spiel.
I could not hijack
I
that.
talk about comments.
Oh, sorry.
And stuff.
I'm getting too excited, James. I'll back that.
Back off.
Sorry.
Back off.
No, I'm so impressed.
All right, that was the end of the video from Stomp Tutorials. Can I just say at the end, this guy on the right has so much charisma. Like I talked about Steep looking like he thought he had charisma and it was really uncomfortable. This guy has real charisma. He just comes off as genuine, kind. I don't know him in real life, so it could be an act. Doesn't seem like it though. He seems like he's genuinely here trying to help people and got good content. Overall, I would give this a B. This is like an 8 out of 10. This was a good tutorial. I think that there were a few things where they had the basic understanding, but as it got more advanced, you could kind of see some of the fraying and fringes a little bit more. But you know, that's like anything. You talk into the camera long enough and you watch your own videos and you go, what was I talking about? So overall, this was excellent. And I think for a lot of people, they don't need to know the high-end, nitty-gritty point of the pencil stuff. They just want to understand the basics so they can improve. And to provide that to people for free, I think is just awesome. So I give this, you know, a big thumbs up. I like this video. It gets the basics down. They're missing some kind of top tier understanding of carving. Like really carving needs to happen from the feet up. You need to be good at building pressure in your ski and knowing how to like wait for that turn to initiate just by feel of the ski rather than worrying about having your upper body initiate it for you. That's not a critique of these guys. I think for a lot of people, their upper body is getting in their way. So this is a very valuable video. But I would say that if you want to like get really good at carving, a thing to understand better would be how does your ski change shape and how does it catch and carve? So that would be my suggestion to people. Focus on the shape of your skis, focus on the pressure in your boots. That's why I always talk about boots being the most important set of gear, because how much pressure and how much leverage you have when you change your ski's shape by flexing the front of your boot is really key to how you carve. But overall, you know, a couple nitpicks here and there, a couple things that I would maybe offer for advice in their skiing if I was coaching them. But I'm not, you know, they didn't ask for this, so I'm just giving my unrequested advice. But overall, it was very good, and for people who are self-taught, this was a very clear understanding of carving. These are sharp people for sure. So you guys get my thumbs up. I do think that if you're initiating a turn, you could understand a few things a little bit differently. Maybe I'll make a video kind of going through that. I've been meaning to, so perhaps it's overdue. But overall, pretty good. So anyway, that's the end of my video. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. Helps my channel out a lot, but more than anything, just thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, we have memberships where if you go for the top tier, I'll actually give you one-on-one coaching over your skiing. I'll help you with ski recommendations, all that stuff. Or if you just want to join to help support the channel, it does help me out a lot because I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm just out here in my backyard in my kids' playground. But I just wanted to give my insight. And I have a lot of respect for Stomp Tutorials, so they were a bit overdue for reaction. Anyway, that's the end of the video. The next video you see will probably be a ski review. But as always, just thanks for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.